Hello everyone and welcome back. We're in Port, this beautiful harbour on the southwest corner of Mull. It's a beautiful place and it's the stepping off point to go across over to Iona, this fantastic island which I love so much. And there's the ferry that we're just about to take, a lovely little ferry. It's a nice ride over there and you see some lovely views of Iona as you go across there as well. We've looked at the weather forecast today and it's okay. It's very nice this morning, but it's going to be a little bit dicey this afternoon. So what we're going to do today are a few sketches around Iona and really try and travel as much as we can, so to show you the sights of it. Right in the far distance of Iona there, quite a long way where that little boat is, you can see a little beach, and that's called North Beach, and that's my favourite beach in Scotland, but by a country mile. It's so amazing. There are lots of paintings on that beach done by people like Peploe, some of the great colourists, and he did some marvellous paintings of North Beach, which has changed a bit over the years. There's less sand in it now than there used to be, but it's still a beautiful place. And it's beautiful mainly because of Mull in the background, the beautiful island of Mull and the big mountains in the distance. It's so spectacular and the colours are so incredible. So here's a beautiful spot to have a look at Iona. There's a lovely light in it at the moment and you can see how the white buildings are reflecting the light like a glowing light bulb. And in the front here you can see the three boats. And the big one at the back is the ferry that we're taking across, and the two small ones are to Staffa, the island there, so they can see Fingal's Cave and bird watching and all sorts of things going on there. I haven't done that yet, but I'd like to do it at some point. You can come along with us if I do that one.
We ask that when moving around the vessel, you do so in a safe manner. No garbage or waste is thrown overboard. Please use the waste and recycle.
That was a really interesting and fun journey across the little stretch of water here, and you can see the ferries returning. It just came, dumped and left almost immediately. And if you come over here, you can see one of the beauties of Iona, and it's the turquoise seas that's so nice. And the sun's gone in a bit at the moment, so you can't quite see it as much as you can with the bright sunshine on it. But you can see it's a beautiful place, and this is just the beginning of it. There's quite a walk that we have to do, a mile or two up to North Beach now, so that's going to be a fun walk, but lots to see along the way. There are a few little shops on Iona, gift shops and all sorts. In a very quaint little building. You found anything interesting, Tanya?
Yes, the Scottish colourist Francis Cadell used to stay here in what was known as the Bothy when he came here in about 1912.
All right, that's
when
interesting.
He came every summer, and he paid the rent by means of his paintings.
Right, did some great paintings too. A lot of sheep on Iona. That was quite fun, isn't it? Poking his head up to see what's going on. Let's see if I can get it. Oh, maybe not.
He's frightening them.
Took one step and it scared the living daylights out of them.
Look at him run.
He was running. I'm definitely the king of the castle here.
He's very majestic standing.
King of all I see.
Showing his horns.
So here we have a wonderful view of the Abbey here on Iona, and what a stunning place it is. And you can see in the distance you have these fantastic cliffs of Mull. That's one of the most beautiful parts of Iona, looking from here to the hills, so wonderful. And then to the right it pans down to the sort of outbuilding. And if you remember a few episodes ago, I was at an exhibition in the City Art Gallery in Edinburgh, and there was a painting exactly like this, from exactly this spot, by Adam Bruce Thompson. and it was a great painting and I really enjoyed it. So I thought I'd show you this picture. And it's interesting to see really, because he has moved things around within his painting, and it's really interesting to see that. The outbuilding on the right has definitely been moved left quite a lot, just to increase the sort of pleasant composition of the picture. And he was absolutely right to do so. I would have done the same thing, just to give that compact feel to the composition as well. Much better. And the beautiful rocks in the foreground he's done so well. And if you pan left, you can see the far distance, the light on the sea, which is so beautiful, and these wonderful houses in the foreground coming into it, these white houses. But what a beautiful spot. I could stay here for ages. We've just come a few hundred metres up the road from the Abbey, and we've come over a little crest of a hill, and it's opened up the countryside really beautifully. And you can see in the far distance there's a bit of light on the hills in the distance there. And that's where we were driving yesterday. If you remember, we did some drone shots. That's the exact spot there. And looking very green and lush over here. Haven't got much light here, but it's still so beautiful. And you can see now how the farmland is opening up. Iona is only a small place, 3 miles or so long, so you don't really need a car, don't need anything, just your feet really, and you can walk everywhere on the island. But we're going way in the distance over there. So that island over there in the distance, that's roughly where North Beach is. So we're heading there. So right on the left there, that's one of my favourite sites on Iona. These wonderful buildings here, and in particular the orange roofs. And it's been around a long time though, those colours. Maybe they keep them those colours, but the roof looks quite new, so they've kept the old in with it. But it looks lovely. Nice dash of colour. The corrugated iron roof looks brand new. As you get close to it, you see it's really, really fresh. We're coming to the junction now, where the pathway splits, and it goes either to North Beach here on your right, which is a beautiful beach, and it's the most popular beach really. That's where most of the famous paintings of Iona have been painted, along this beach here, which we'll get to in a minute. And you can see the great stacks and mountains of Mull there. And then to the left you have another beach over here, behind the house really, and that's another lovely beach as well. Not quite as popular, but there's still many great paintings done there, particularly by Samuel Peploe, who was a wonderful painter of Iona, probably the best painter of Iona really. He had a fantastic style. It wasn't about detail, it was very thick oil paints really, and beautifully observed. You don't get many better than Samuel Peploe. Interestingly, there's an exhibition on Samuel Peploe in London at the Portland Gallery, which unfortunately I can't get to because other things, but I'd love to go and see that.
Nearly there. The wind's got up there, hasn't it?
It's quite windy now.
Ah, hold on to my hat. I can see the beach. We've made it.
That's a really beautiful sight of the path snaking into the distance there. Love that. Perfect S-bend. You can really hear the birds singing now. Maybe it's a warning to me. Maybe I'm about to disturb their nest or something.
In the reeds here, in the
so.
grasses.
You can certainly see why the artist came here. Stunning location. We've arrived at the entrance to North Beach now, and we have this gate here, and it's an extremely well painted gate. You see lots and lots of paintings with that gate in it, so you could say it's famous. Again, a lovely scene, and we'll take you on to North Beach now and see the beautiful white sands. What a view, completely blinding now. Even in dull conditions, this beach is so white. I'm having to really squint.
I had to stop to put my coat on.
So I'll take you for a look at Cathedral Rock. It's just over here, and it's the most well-painted rock on the island. There it is. It's the pointy one. So we'll have a little picnic here. Haven't got much of a picnic, but we've got something.
Out of the wind, at least.
Out of the wind. One of the other problems here is there's a lot of sand flying around, so the camera gear doesn't like sand. So we've left Iona and we're back on the mainland again, and it was a very nice ferry across. The weather sort of clamped in a bit, so we decided to leave and come back another day. We're heading to a campsite now, which is unusual for us. We don't go to too many campsites, but it's so overcast we haven't got enough power now to charge the batteries in the computer, and Tanya's got to do all the editing for the video which comes out tomorrow, so we have a little bit of urgency on our mind. But it'd be nice to be at a campsite as well, nice time to relax. So you can see that this area is stunning, and what a place to have a campsite. What wonderful thing to run as well. It'd be great to have this and to run it in the summer. I guess it's all year round as well, but winter time there's not many people visiting. But it's a lovely campsite, one of my favourites. We have been here before. Before we had a camper van, we had a tent, and we stayed here in the tent. It's a very reasonably priced campsite, £12 each, which is good. Although there's no electric hookup, which is a bit of a pain, but there are points that we can charge our battery. Here's the campsite. It's a bit of luxury for you, Tanya.
It is. Look at that sheep. Oh, look, he ran off before his...
That's a funny sheep. He must be so embarrassed. Luxury. Drinking water. Ooh, that's good. Okay, this is the spot, I think. Ooh, boinky boinky. There we go. Perfect. Completely flat as well.
How about that for a view?
That's a nice view, isn't it? I love that. Very pretty. So this is the second day of our little trip to Iona, and it's been, I don't want to use the word disappointing, but it has been a bit disappointing. The weather has been, as I mentioned earlier, dicey, and the ferry's actually been cancelled today. So you can see how bad it is. Iona's shrouded in mist and fog, so not nice as well, really. Tanya's been busy, and we've been busy, but just doing little jobs, really. Tanya's been doing much more of the video editing, which is great. She's got on with that, been charging batteries, but nothing really that productive. It's just a sort of waiting around game, which is one thing that landscape painting is really. It's hurry up and wait. I've had a look at the weather forecast, and it looks pretty good for tomorrow. The sunshine and showers and a bit of wind, so hopefully not too bad. Hopefully get a painting done, but if not, we'll certainly get some drawings done and also have a good look around the island and hopefully show you North Beach in particular in some sunny weather, which is where it really shines and where the sand is so beautiful, and also the sea becomes beautiful, these wonderful turquoise seas of Scotland. Morning everyone. We've arrived back at the ferry port. A little bit of confusion with the tickets there. They've given us a single, but we need a return, but the computer says no, it doesn't want to print us out a proper return ticket. So hopefully we'll get back and explain it to them. The lights really appeared on the island now, really beautifully. So we're hoping that it's going to be okay and we're going to get a decent amount of sunshine there. The wind is quite heavy today, quite strong. So just fingers crossed that the ferry isn't cancelled and we're stranded. We've left the port and it's nice to be on the ferry. I never tire of this journey. It's only a short trip, but it's so exciting. To see Iona in the background is so beautiful. You've got the Abbey behind me over there, and North Beach, you can see it's beautifully lit at the moment in the distance. So really lovely. It's such an exciting time getting onto Iona. I love it so much. The ship's going a little bit up like that at the moment, so Tan is having to be very still. It's quite precarious for her. So anyway, we'll enjoy the trip over and take some video for you. And these clouds here are a painter's delight. They really are. They're huge as well. That one up there is so nice as well. Don't you see that one? Try and pan up a bit. Really lovely clouds. So that's a real blessing. Hopefully they'll stay. See now how the ship is rolling around. As I came off a boat, a massive wave came over and absolutely drenched my feet. I'm soaked to the skin. Good start. Soaking, absolutely soaking. I'm making footprints with nail on this. It's so wet. What a good start. What a good start. Anyway, hopefully they'll dry out, but I doubt it. It was the great Second World War general who used to walk along to the beaches. MacArthur. He was famous for walking on through the waves in the Philippines. And they're off.
Very quick turnaround.
Really quick, wasn't it? It's like 2 shakes of a donkey's tail and they're back again.
Yeah. And then I think they waited in Fionport for a bit.
Yeah, it's a bit calmer over there. So here's Iona village, and it's a lovely entrance to Iona. It's a nice little village, this, with the Abbey in the distance there. This beautiful beach. I have done a painting on this beach once before. And the houses here, very picturesque wooden boats. Much prettier than the plastic ones. And then looking up the hill, you see these lovely houses, and here as well. Really very pretty. The classic white house, just so nice to see. There's so many wonderful views in Iona. We'll be struggling to show you them all, but we show you as many as we can. That's a wonderful view with the wooden boats from here. Awesome place, love it. This is a scene I always like. I like the little boats in the foreground. I like that foreground interest is always good for compositions. And you've got the wonderful background of the sea and the Abbey there. So that's a nice picture. So here we have the ruins of the old nunnery. Must have been quite impressive in its day. Looks good as a ruin.
This is the dormitory here, I think.
Thank you.
They asked us not to let them go past. No problems! And now running down the street. Oops! They're sort of well behaved behind their fence.
Very well behaved. The farmer was very appreciative of you then, Tanya.
He was.
He said, thank you so much.
Oh no, they're coming again! Here I go again! Ladies, you're meant to be going the other way. Come on! That way! He's just asked me to bring them, so here I am. Come on! That's a good girls. Well done. Run, 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 run! Ah, That's it. In you go. I've got a new career, haven't I?
It's a beautiful road to walk along. I've done it quite a few times now, and what a view. Either side is amazing. This is the main hill of Iona to the left. That's the biggest hill there is. Not very big. And panning across, we see looking over to Mull. And Mull is in cloud at the moment, which is a bit unfortunate. I'd much rather it be clear so I can see Mull. It's such a beautiful place on a clear day.
Clear.
Fingers crossed that it's going to clear.
It's going to clear. This way to climb the hill. Don't think we'll be doing that today. I did walk around the island once a couple of years ago when James was here. I left him on North Beach sketching and said, I'll just go around the island. It won't take me long. I'll see you in a couple of hours. And it was only about a couple of hours. But unfortunately for James, he'd got cold. So he was rather fed up when I finally got all the way around.
So this is a really interesting picture. I love the telegraph poles or electricity poles, and the house just popping into the landscape there over the hill, and the clouds behind are awesome too. Incredible scene. The clouds are perfect for painting. They're really interesting shapes. Wonderful scene now of this cottage with the background of Mull behind. We did video it the other day, but we've got a bit of light on it now, which makes it twice as good. It does show you how a bit of sunlight is so important, how it brings out the colours and the shapes so much more. It's always a bit frustrating when you have an overcast day. You take 2 steps in another direction and another wonderful scene appears on Iona. And you can see the orange houses or orange roof in the distance coming through. This beautiful wall here too, leading lines into the landscape. It's a painter's paradise here, it really is. There's no coincidence that Peploe and Cobalt and the Scottish colourists came here. They came here because it was awesome. I think this is one of the great sights of Iona. The orange roof and the silhouette of Mull in the distance and the gorgeous rocks that it has. Fantastic. And the clouds that you see up there are as good as they get. Blustery day, but I never tire of this type of view, the Scottish White House. And that's a particularly pretty one and perfectly set right by the sea. Really lovely little farmhouse. Here's an excellent view of the aircraft carrier that I pointed out in the painting by Adam Bruce Thompson a few videos ago. It's not an aircraft carrier, it's just an island in the Atlantic. Really strange shaped one. It looks so much like an aircraft carrier to me, or a submarine perhaps, but it's a really great view of it, and I always love seeing that. So we've arrived at the northern side, or the north side of the island really, and we've taken a left turn today, and we're headed to this beach here. I'm not too sure of the name of it. I think it's called West Beach, but I'm not totally sure, but I'll just call it West Beach. But it's quite a wild day today, and you can see the surf is really up. But again, it has one of these lovely gates, entrance to the beach. And you can see with the sun of it how white the sand is. It's absolutely beautiful sand up here. And it's the sand, the white sand, that creates these wonderful turquoise seas here. So making it a wonderful sight. Have you ever seen a more beautiful entrance to a beach than that? The post there is so compositionally lovely, really lovely entrance. Sneak through. Well, we're in the full midst of weather here, a real strong gale force wind coming over, so that would have made actual watercolour painting difficult, but wow, what a sight, breathtaking sight here. I say Iona is such an incredible place. You've got these 2 northern beaches are what it's all about really, and the western side is open to the Atlantic, so the real weather, and then the other side with that wonderful view of Mull. Gorgeous, such a good contrast between the 2 beaches. Oh, it's a very, very windy day now. Oof. So the view that we're looking for is really over there. There's been quite a few paintings, particularly by Peploe, where he painted behind that rock and looking over to Mull. At the moment you can't see Mull because of all the dunes there, but the whole landscape opens up if you go a little bit further down the beach. The lights really come out now, so you can really see the effects of the turquoise seas coming through. Beautiful way that the light's moving across the water as well, so it's a little bit in shadow, a little bit in light, really lovely. And most of all, I can feel the warmth of my back. Definitely a little bit cold today. Opens up to another breathtaking view. So nice. And the waves seem to be even bigger this side, so we'll have a walk along. So here we have one of the very picturesque parts of West Beach. I've always liked it. This vertical fence post, which really gives a nice foreground and a bit of interest to the scene. Lovely image. One of the interesting things about coming to Iona is trying to find scenes that other artists have painted, and this is one of them. And an artist called Samuel Peploe, he painted this scene a number of times, and it's a lovely scene. It's on the West Beach, and you have these foreground rocks which are so interesting, and then in the distance you have the land of Iona, and then in the far distance you have Mull with the beautiful rocks over there. But it really is a marvellous scene. I'll put a picture up of Peploe's painting as well, and you can see how he slightly moves things around. Nothing's quite what he really saw, which I think is a really interesting part of an experienced painter, that they don't have to keep things as they are. They can move things around a bit, but he's added a rock down in the bottom right-hand corner as well, which I thought was interesting too. But a lovely scene. Unfortunately, we can't really see Mull particularly clearly. It's quite a misty day over there, so we can't see the dramatic rocks that he saw on that day. We've been searching for the painting by Adam Bruce Thompson of Ionian rocks, and I think this is the picture here. Can't quite get it perfect, but this is as close as I've got. It's very difficult to get artists' impressions perfect, really, because they don't paint photographs, so they amalgamate things and change things, but this is about as close as I found. So you can see that you've got the rocks here, and way in the distance there you've got the aircraft carrier which is formed. So it's very recognisable in that painting. And it is a wonderful scene. The tide might be changed as well, so you can see how they have changed things again. You can never trust an artist. We've walked a few hundred metres across the island, and we've ended up at North Beach, my favourite part of Iona. A better beach in many ways to West Beach. The sands are much more beautiful and more expansive, and the scene of Mull is really in your face. I love this beach so much. We've come a few metres down the path from the wonderful gate there, and we're confronted with this scene here, and I'm sure you'd agree it's an incredible place, an incredible scene. There's such drama here, there's so much going on. And that's one of the problems of a composition at times. There can be too much going on. And in this case, there is too much. It's such a huge vista, it's impossible to really take it in. So one good trick of dealing with this is to break it down into smaller areas, so sort of cut it into little chunks, and I like that. So I'm going to take a small section of this vista and paint that scene, and break it down just to create an image which is a little bit easier to handle. So one of the tricks of breaking the scene down is to use your fingers, and I find that a really useful aid. And what I do is I make squares out of my fingers like this, so squares and rectangles. So this is the idea about using your fingers really, and they're a wonderful aid to composition. You can buy things like that, but why bother when you've got your fingers? So that's a composition that I was thinking, and that's quite an interesting composition there with the rocks on the bottom corner and the island on the left there with Mull right in the distance, creating a nice accent there. So that's a nice composition. So you could do other things as well. You could draw the fingers together and create a panoramic view, and that's quite fun as well. I like panoramic, but not too often. But I like the sort of 6x4 sort of standard photo rectangular size. But a useful trick to know. We've just had a short shower, very sharp shower, and it absolutely teed it down, but he just hid under a dune. There's not much cover around here, but thank goodness the sun's come out and it's getting warmer again. So we'll get back to the drawing. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to draw this section here of it. I think that's a nice composition, and hopefully get back home and do a painting, a watercolour painting of it. So yeah, let's give it a go. So I'll start this drawing in my normal way, and that is just to draw a little rectangle here. I do ignore it later on, but it just helps me a little bit, make sure I don't do the scale too big. This isn't a complicated drawing, so it shouldn't really take too long. So what I'm going to do is really sort of simplify it and draw in the horizon here. So let's say that's the horizon, and then we've got a rock here. So I'm just going to draw everything roughly in it. Rock here, then we've got the island coming in here. I always like to draw very generally to begin with. I don't like to put definitive marks in too soon, especially when you're drawing with pen. So I think that's the best way to go. See that? So, and then the sea is here now, drawing across here. So then I'll start to put detail in when I've got everything roughly placed. Well, the sun's so nice now on our back. Really got very chilly earlier with that rain coming down. Okay, so there's a little part of the sketch coming in. So I'm trying to be more accurate now. I think that's okay for scale now, so I'm happy with that. There's some rocks. So many jaggedy rocks in Iona. They do make wonderful compositions. Another smaller rock here coming in. And I always work in biro. I think that's, why not? It's a very definitive mark, and it doesn't smudge. So that's one of the big benefits of using the biro. I like that. Another rock here. Tide's on the way down now. Sun's trying to poke the other side of behind my head at the moment, so creating a few shadows on the paper. And then you have a little black mark, another rock here, which I quite like too. So it's sort of upended slightly. So they're going up at an angle. Sort of marks on the beach. Yeah, it's going quite well. You have a sort of high tide mark on that big middle island. Okay, that's getting more of the scale of it done. So in the distance there you got Mull, and it's sort of that's one of the most impressive parts of Mull. That end bit, this bit here that I like. It just sort of raises up, veers up off out of the ocean, and then it comes across here like that. So that's a good mark there. And the island continues over to here. So this is going to be a quick sketch. There's nothing that complicated in it. It's partly one of the reasons I love it so much. It's such a simple thing. If only your sketch was so easy. And then you have the mountains or the mainland behind. So I think they're the mainland. There's a little peak up here. And then we've got the water lapping in. To there. And a few islands. So it's interesting with this one, you can see the scale has changed. I was going to do it this size, but it's actually moved it around a bit, but I'm happy with that. You've got these big rocks coming in into the sea. The rocks are different colours here. The ones that are on the island, they're very grey, almost like a granite. And the ones that are in the sea, they're a brown rock. They're not brown, they're the same colour as the grey ones, but they're covered in incrustations and little shells and things. So you can see that going in there like that. And then we have some clouds up high. So you see that's a quick drawing. Just check it over a few times. Get some shadows into it. The rocks are interesting because they're almost black on the ones that go into the sea there. The top part of it's black. So there's the little drawing done, and it's not a complicated drawing. It took me 5 minutes to do, not very long at all, but it's all I need for the composition of the painting. There are various ways of drawing, and some people draw for the drawing's sake, and that's not what this is about. This is like a stepping stone towards the final painting, and that's all I need. All I need is the perspective and where things are roughly. My real work comes within the painting of it. And you can see how the composition is quite nice. The rocks on the left sort of I think help it, and the main subject matter of these rocks in the foreground here, and of course the island here, the green island here, and then the mainland, and then Benmore here with this beautiful coloured sea that's going to be in there. I love the colour of the sea here. That's what's going to make the painting so special. Here's another really interesting scene, beautiful scene at that, and I've seen paintings similar to this. Every corner of this beach has been painted, so you're not going to really find anything truly original, but you can find your own perspective on things a little bit. And this is an interesting picture, which I really like. That rock there, that little rock there, I find that very attractive, and the way it leads you into it, and you've got the bigger rock in the distance on the right there, that's quite fun too. And again, it gives you those layers. I'm very interested in layers in composition. If you can layer up a composition so you have a definite foreground, midground and background, I think that makes a nice composition too. Again, you've got the beautiful colour in the sea. We're blessed by having sunshine today, which is a relief. This place is best done in sunshine and nice lighting, which is so important. And you can just about see the Isle of Mull in the distance there with the rock going up from the sea like that, like a step. I think that's really fun too, as well as this green island in the mid-distance there. I love that. So we'll crack on and do another little drawing of this, another little sketch to take back to the studio to do a painting. Right, well, we'll start off with just generally really. So there's that first rock which I like, and then so I'm roughly going to sketch everywhere really, just to try and get a little bit of scale in so that I don't make too much of a mistake later on. That's a very important part. Don't make mistakes. That's what I keep on telling myself. Doesn't always work though. And then the rock comes in here, and then this wonderful little other rock, which is part of the composition, comes in here, sort of bulbous shape. And then it goes up to here, drops down, and then another rock comes in here, which is quite interestingly. Right, that's pretty good. And then the rock in the sea behind. The sea's getting a beautiful colour in it at the moment. It really is lovely. The emerald colours are really coming through. Okay, so then we're coming to the island here, stretching across. Work out where the centre is, so about there. And it goes up. So I like working quite quickly with my drawing. I don't want to hang around really. Working everywhere is the trick to it. And then we've got the actual seascape, the actual line of the sea I'm going to put in right there. So that's where the land is. So this the wonderful rocks of Mull. I'm going to start there. They rise up and then go into there. And then I think it's Mull in the far distance as well. That's just the whole of Mull there. I thought it was the mainland, but I don't think it is. I think it's still Mull. And there's a bigger mountain there, and it goes in there. So yeah, that's pretty much it on that. They're so jaggedy, these rocks. They're almost like they've been fractured by freezing conditions. There we go. And then there's a sort of spit of land that comes in, spit of rocks that comes out here. That's quite interesting. That's the base of the picture, I would say, right there. Give it a shading here. So that's the massive rocks of Mull, and then into the distance. Just a little shading in there just gives you a better idea of what's actually happening. So there's the composition, and I think it's an interesting composition here. It's very different for Iona, and it's not the normal one I see. So that's the Isle of Mull in the background, and the beautiful jaggedy big tall rocks here that just come out of the sea so violently. Then the mid-island there, the green island, all the sea here. And it's these two rocks here which I like the most. They give a sort of symmetry to the picture. And they sort of lead you down the centre of these two rocks, which I quite like. So I think that's going to make quite a nice painting. And I might do two paintings of this one in watercolour and one in oil. And it'd be quite interesting to see how the different medium alter the feel of the painting. So there's the Abbey appearing on the horizon there, really beautiful. I love that. Makes a wonderful scene this. I have done a painting of this scene. I'll try and show it to you next time. It was a nice painting, an oil painting, 26 by 36 inches. So that was fun. The sand would have been, I would say, maybe a half a metre, certainly half a metre higher in Peplow's day. So it seems to be weathering and falling into the sea at the moment.
So it's big enough community here to have a little primary school, though I don't think there are that many children. There's probably between about 20 or 30. But wasn't it a lovely place to be educated in? And I'm sure they're excited today because it's the last day of school for Scottish children.
We're just making it down the hill to the ferry port, and I think I can see one coming across now.
Luckily, we had to rush back from North Beach because this is the last ferry back from the island today, else we would have been stranded.
A lovely view though. I love that house on the right. The gable ends are so attractive. lot of ramshackle boats and tackle and all sorts of things on the right here. Nice to see though. So here's the last ferry coming back to Iona. It's good to be on it, well, almost on it. It's been a wonderful trip and we've certainly seen a lot, walked a long way. There we go, coming down the slope. Thank you. So here we are on the ferry saying goodbye to Iona. It's been a great trip. We've walked a long way and you can see it's bobbing around quite a lot. Here's Tanya. She's a bit tired too after all that. Funny seeing you can feel the ship going up and down. What is it going? It's rolling. It's rocking, not rolling.
Yeah, I think it's rocking and rolling.
Rocking and rolling. Cheers, thank you.
No wet feet this time.
No, luckily. So that comes to the end of our little 3-day trip to Iona. It's been a really wonderful trip. You need 3 days really to visit Iona, mainly because of the weather. We're on the west coast here and you never know what's going to happen. And the first day we were here it was half and half good day, then the rest of it bad day. Yesterday was really a terrible day. It was so bad and so dull and windy and rainy, but today we've been lucky and we feel very fortunate to have a lovely day on Iona. And we've got a couple of sketches done, which is good too. And hopefully you've enjoyed the trip and hopefully we've introduced a few people to Iona, this magnificent island on the west coast off Mull. It's such a wonderful place, my favourite island. And next time we'll be in the studio where I do some of the paintings for this, hopefully a watercolour and maybe an oil as well. That would be quite exciting to do an oil from this trip too. So until next time, wishing you well and goodbye.